Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Miami Split Close offense. And this is something I've been working on for quite some time now. And I'm ready to drop it because we hit 20,000 subscribers. So, as promised, here is a full offensive breakdown for you guys to dominate in MUT, CFM, regs. It doesn't matter. This offense is going to be usable in every single game mode. And you don't need any abilities. That's one of the best things about this scheme. It's something I enjoyed doing. It's kind of a challenge to build these schemes without, additional routes and stuff. And I just want everybody to be able to use these schemes, give them some structure, regardless of whatever game mode or team that they have. So that's kind of what I had in mind with this one. The formations we'll be covering are going to be split close pro, split close, and then we also have audibles down to IFORM close, and strong close. I'd say these two formations are mainly for running the ball. We do have some dots cooked up, but overall, the run plays is what we're looking for here when we audible down. So let's go ahead and talk about personnel for the entire ebook real quick. Now, this is going to be a 2 running back, 2 receiver, 1 tight end offense. Like, we're not using any other personnel besides that. Now, if you play MUT or something, obviously you can have a good 3rd receiver or something. Like, that's not a problem. But I just wanted to make that very clear. Gun split close pro, it has a tight end. But then we have split close where I sub in a tight end here because that means we can audible to split close pro and then also audible to IFORM close and strong close. So that is our personnel. 2 running back, 1 tight end, 2 receiver. That's what we're going to use for all 4 of our formations. Now, as far as the personnel, I have 2 really fast running backs in Mostert and A-Chain. They're both extremely fast. And then we have the 2 fastest receivers in football as well with Hill and Waddle. And then Higgins is 89 speed at tight end. So this is like the perfect team to run this scheme. I would say that the most important would probably be the running backs. You do want them to have a lot of speed. The receivers, it only helps, of course, to have good speed. But you can get it done with like other teams in regs or whatever. Like, it doesn't have to be the Dolphins. If you don't like, Tua or his like left-handed throw, that's fine. You can use like the Bengals or, any other good team is fine. But I just wanted to, point out what you're looking for with this scheme. Just really speed. Abilities, I've already kind of listed them in one of the tabs. You guys can look at those abilities. They'll help you separate versus man coverage if you use like short and elite or something. That's only going to elevate the scheme, but it's not a requirement. One thing I want to talk about that's kind of important is how you should be running these setups. So the way that we have this designed is we have the strong side to the short side. So the easy way to think about this is, and this is for every single setup in the ebook, the ball's on the right hash. That means you're going to want your tight end on the right. In the event that, the ball is on the left hash, you are going to have to flip your play at the menu. In the event that you don't flip it at the menu, you can just do it after you break the huddle. And you want your tight end on the left if the ball is on the left. And then if you audible down to like an IFORM close or something, all of our setups are designed with the tight end on the short side. So please keep that in mind, and then let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so I'm just going to demonstrate the run plays that have gone split close pro real quick. Now we have the RPO zone peak, which is my favorite run in the formation. Then you also have an inside zone split, which is pretty solid. And then the halfback power O is really hit or miss. The pulling guard kind of clogs things a little bit, and sometimes you don't gain anything. And it's just not my favorite run, but it is, usable in certain cases and against maybe specific fronts. But RPO zone peak is the main run here. This one is going to be your audible run. And RPO runs are just the best this year. Like, they get really good blocking. As you can see, like, look how they get upfield. Like, the right tackle, he just gets up to the second level, and it's pretty easy to get up, positive yards. Now, I will say, that was just bad run stick by me. If you guys really want to like punish them for whatever front they come out in, you probably want to audible down to like IFORM close or strong close. That's going to be your best bet for really punishing them on the ground, because these runs out of split close are good, but not elite. But as you can see, like, the run blocking on this play is pretty damn good. And then we'll go ahead and go check out the inside zone split just real quick. And I'll go ahead and throw in, actually I'll come out in the power O so I can just audible over. Inside zone split, it just gets you upfield like that. It's going to be really hard to shoot this run with the extra running back in the backfield, but at the same time, you're probably not going to gain any crazy yardage. That will very rarely happen. And then with the power O, let's go ahead and look at it. As you can see, the pulling guard, he's kind of slow. I don't know if that's a ratings thing, but pulling guards this year, in my opinion, just aren't that good. Like, they do target pretty well. This was the inside zone split. But overall, I'd rather just keep it clean with the RPO. Here's a power O one more time. As you can see, it worked out pretty well there, but that was a spread front, and you're not going to see that too often. So the first play is going to be Dolphins Option, and this will be the first setup, and I'm just going to go ahead and use random play. I'm going to do that for the entirety of this offense. And the reason for it is pretty simple. I like to have setups that have multiple answers for really any coverage. If they play man, I'm going to have a couple routes that beat man. If they play zone, I'm going to have a couple routes that beat zone. That's typically how I design my offenses. And just to demonstrate it, that's why I do random play. Now, since this is the first setup, I want to talk about this and make it a very big point. All of the setups are going to be strong side to short side. So basically what that means is just go ahead and look and see whatever strong side of your formation is, whoever has the most people. As you can see, it's the right side. We have the tight end, the receiver, and the running back. That's 3 people. That is your strong side. It's always going to be on the short side. So the ball is on the right hash. That means they're to the right. The ball is on the left hash. You're going to have to run this formation flipped. That's how the entire offense is designed. So I just wanted to make that very clear. Now for this first setup, it's very simple. All we're going to do is streak the strong side receiver, which is B in this case, out route the running back, that's the strong side. And then you have the option to block your weak side running back if you want, which is this guy right here, which is Y. That's up to you. If you're expecting a blitz, go ahead and do it. Otherwise, just leave him on his route. And what we're looking for here is typically going to be, I don't know how I just got like pressured like that. But what you're looking for really is this out route and this corner route to the short side of the field. It's just a basic flood concept. And if they don't play a double Mabel over here, something's going to be open. I would also say if they run like maybe a cover 2 man, that can kind of box this setup as well. You can't always count on this corner route to separate versus man. Right there, kind of a weird animation. But this streak is going to clear out, any kind of deep zone. Right here, I'll block this weak side running back. Run it like this. Just kind of read to this running back in the corner from the tight end. That's typically how you want to read it. It's just a very basic, flood concept. But this corner route is going to get over both a flat as well as a just not getting enough time to throw him. He will get over that stock Tampa 2 flat. One more time. Hopefully get enough time. As you can see, he gets over the stock Tampa 2 flat. For Dolphins option number 2, what we're going to do is streak the strong side receiver. We're going to motion the strong side running back across. So he's on the right side of the field. We're going to D-pad left to motion him into a wide receiver position. Then we're going to drag him. And then you have the option to either block your running back or option route him. If you're not expecting a blitz, I do recommend the option route. It's just an extra route on the field. Let's go ahead and take a look. Basically just want to read this with like drag to corner. So let's go ahead and do it again. Motion this guy across, drag. I'll go ahead and block my running back this time. And right here, hopefully just get a better throw next time. But this is still going to be like a very similar concept to what we just ran. The difference is maybe a little bit of confusion with this motion from the running back. But really, you just want to read drag to corner. That's typically what you're doing. And the only thing that's really going to give this a lot of problems would be like a cover 2 man or a double Mabel where they have like the 2 flats on the side. On that short side. I'll block this running back again. Right here, man coverage, we can maybe hit the C route. Didn't get enough time for it. This defensive line is giving me hell right now. But it's a basic setup, guys. You're just reading drag first, corner second. Just like that. For Dolphins option number 3, we're going to fade this outside receiver on the strong side, or I guess the only receiver on the strong side. We're going to block the strong side running back. We're going to in route the weak side running back. And then what I like to do is motion this tight end across. And then if somebody follows and I think it's man coverage, I'll put this other receiver on a zig and I'll run it like this. The other route would be like a hitch. If you know it's a zone coverage, use the hitch. The hitch is going to be better. But, you know, if they play man, then you definitely want the zig. It's just going to give you an extra man beater. So I'm going to leave him on a zig for now. And the way you want to run this, or read this, I should say, is I would read like either the post or the in route first. That's kind of up to you. I typically always start with like the shorter route, whatever one's kind of like the check down. And it's not because I'm like, I'm not like scared to throw deep or something. It's usually going to be open immediately as opposed to later. It's like right here, I'm just going to use the hitch. There's your post. And it's another really easy read. You're just kind of reading the post, the in route, and then maybe the hitch or the zig after that. So right here, I'm going to use the hitch again. Read my little check down first. That was just really good pressure. You can set up pass protection too if you want. I'm just blocking my running back. So right here, I do think it's a man coverage maybe. Right here. Zig does not get open, unfortunately. But luckily our tight end does. He just ends up dropping it. But overall, I like this setup a lot as a change of pace. Next up, we have Dolphins curl post. And this will be the first setup. Just random defense again. And what we're going to do for this one is we're going to slant the strong side receiver, which is a B in this case. We're going to wheel the strong side running back. And then you have two options. You can flat the tight end or you can block the tight end. That's completely up to you. I typically like blocking my tight end just so I know I have all my bases covered. I don't have to worry about getting blitzed. But, you know, you have two really good check down routes immediately with the table and the wheel from your running backs. Typically how I read this is I read the table route first. He gets taken away there. This wheel is going to torch man coverage. And this play really is designed for man coverage, I would say. It is also going to be good versus a soft zone. The reason for that is this table route is really, really good. It really needs to be kind of like manned up and shaded underneath, or they play like a hard flat just like they did here. Watch the outside cornerback. He comes down and takes it away. But believe me, if he's in a backed off, you know, cloud flat or whatever, this table route's getting yardage. And I'll show you that in a second. So block the tight end. Play should look like this. Like right here. Get close to 10 yards. And this table route, it just runs really fast. And it's also it's going to the wide side of the field. So he has a lot of room to run. Right here, they play hard flats, but then we have this wheel over here. That's why we run gift wrapped in mutt. Always use gift wrapped. You will not drop that ball. So they keep using like aggressive flats over there. I can't really demonstrate, you know, the table route getting a lot of yards versus like a backed off flat or a dropped flat, I should say. Yeah, they keep running like aggressive flats for some reason. This angle post, he's typically not going to be a read unless they use like a cover zero. Here's a good example of a soft flat. You're going to get like 10 yards on that pretty much every single time. And then just to quickly demonstrate like versus cover zero, that's when you can throw the angled post. So Dolphins curl post over Storm Brave. And this play is really good against cover zero. As you can see, angle post is going to separate. I know it's Tyreek Hill. It's going to look a little bit better, you know, in this clip than it will maybe in game if you're not using Tyreek Hill. But believe me, this route is good against man coverage. Next up, we have Dolphins curl post number 2, and this is a cover 3 bomb. I will say that it's not like the best cover 3 bomb of all time. It does take a lot of time to develop, but you know, it's usable. I'd say it's usable. Another disclaimer would be, I don't really like bombs. I think that they're not methodical. You often find yourself in bad down and distances, but they're nice to have. Sometimes you do need them. So what we're going to do is motion this weak side running back out. So he's going to be on the same side of the formation. Put him on a streak, drag the strong side receiver, block your tight end, and then wheel your running back. So your play should look just like this. And we're looking to hit this angled post for a touchdown. It's like right there, our tight end. gets completely bullied. I'm going to go ahead and double team that guy so we don't have that happen again. And I know that's kind of cheating. You don't always know what your opponent's in, if he's blitzing or not. But in this case, I do, so I'm going to double team. So here we go. Hopefully you get enough time. And just like that. Not the best cover 3 bomb of all time. That is Tyreek Hill. It's going to be developing a little bit faster with him than it would with like a 90 speed receiver. But at the end of the day, it is still a cover 3 bomb. Now, if you run this against, you know, a different play, it's not a completely lost cause. So I'll do random play. Same thing, motion him out, wheel. Play should look like this. And typically speaking, you know, you're going to want to read like drag to angled post. If it's a man coverage, you also have your wheel from your running back. But as you can see, this angled post is oftentimes going to have a nice window against the cover 3. And for the final pass play out of Split Close Pro, we have PAY cross. And this is going to be a good play versus pretty much anything. I'd say this is like a universal like beater. This is going to be fine versus both zone and man. And we're going to drag the strong side receiver, wheel the strong side running back, and then you have the option to block your running back or just keep this kind of play action. That's up to you. I don't consider this the good play action blocking. I do actually think it's like the bad play action blocking. The reason I would keep it is because he's on a route that goes to the same side as the wheel, and that can be good versus soft zone. Otherwise, just block him, and it's completely fine. And the way you're going to read this is pretty much drag to crosser to wheel. I start with the drag, see if he's going to have any kind of window. This crosser here is going to get over any kind of stock zone, even a, you know, backed off Tampa 2 cloud. You do need time to throw him, of course. Right here, there's the crosser. And another thing I'll mention is I might have to go to cover 3 to demonstrate this. But sometimes you don't really want this post from your weak side receiver. And the reason for that is he won't fully clear out an outside third. Let's go to run it like this. Right here, he kind of does actually clear him out, but just believe me, sometimes he doesn't get fully cleared out. And the way you clear him out is you just put him on a fade and then run the same setup like this. Right there, our tight end kind of got not on his full route. He didn't get full depth there. But yeah, just redrag to crosser to wheel. Here we go. He got bumped. That's the only reason he didn't like completely torch this guy. Here's going to be a good example, I think. Now, he still doesn't get there fully. The outside third, still kind of attracted to the post route. But if for some reason the post isn't clearing him out, just put him on a fade. Just like this, and it'll work just fine. Okay, let's talk about PAY cross number 2. Now, this is basically going to be the same thing. The difference is you're just going to wheel the running back on the strong side and then motion him across. And then, you know, still do that strong side drag and run it like this. Now, this is going to be, I would say, worse versus man because that wheel route, when you motion him out to like the wide receiver position, you know, he doesn't quite separate like he does out of the backfield. I don't really know the reason for that, but he doesn't. But it is going to be a better setup versus zone, and it's also just a different look. So let's go ahead and snap the ball. Remember, just kind of read this drag to crosser, and then your wheel can be an option 2 against zone. Because what's going to happen is this post is going to clear out space for this wheel oftentimes. So right here, it's going to be man coverage. You're really looking at your crosser, your drag, and then maybe the deep post if you get enough time in the pocket. But the other setup is definitely better versus man. If you know it's man, don't even bother with this one. Just use the other one, the other setup. So you have that wheel coming out of the backfield, and you have another option against man coverage. And then for PAY cross number 3, which is the final setup out of this play, we're going to flat route the outside receiver or the strong side receiver. And then we're going to option route the strong side running back and then out route the weak side running back. So your play should look just like this. And there's a couple things I need to mention before I snap the ball. First of all, I like this play a lot versus people who are doing a lot of send 3, send 4. This play will be literally perfect for that. If your opponent is blitzing and you still want to use this setup for some reason, I would say, block this strong side running back and then zig this strong side receiver. You don't want that flat route anymore. You want that additional man beater if you're going to do this. But again, I do like this versus people who are doing a lot of send 3, send 4. So let's go ahead and snap. And I'd say the best way to read this would be start with this running back out route and then go to the crosser. So I would do, let me think about it. You would do running back out route to tight end crosser to option. And then beyond that, you can do flat then post. Right here, option route. And do not be scared to throw that versus man coverage. They've actually done a really good job this year in man coverage where, for instance, this guy here, this guy covering the flat, he's going to have his eyes on either the quarterback or the receiver, and he's not going to make a play on this. So do not be scared to throw this versus man coverage. Do it again. Here we go. There's a crosser. Run it one more time. Remember, it's running back out route, tight end crosser, and then option route. And this is a good play to demonstrate why I like this play so much. Go to instant replay. What's going to happen a lot of times when you snap this ball is the user is going to take the crosser and he's going to be like, okay, I got to run with him this entire time. And what's going to happen is this option route is always going to sit in this perfect spot against like a zone blitz or really any kind of zone. This flat route is really only to like pull things over and away from this option route. Next up, we have split close. This is kind of the traditional split close that you guys might be used to. Now this is a 11 personnel set, so that's 3 receiver, 1 tight end, 1 running back. However, I do recommend subbing in a tight end to this slot receiver position. That's going to allow you to access the rest of the offense, basically the split close pro, IFORM close, strong close. You do want to put a tight end here so you can just kind of audible around. And then for your custom audibles, I would do, let's go ahead and do fullback inside here. That's the best run in the formation. We'll keep the power O for now. You can do halfback wheel. And then you can pick between pivot dig and Dolphins option. Now, if you want all of the pass plays in here, you could just change the power O for, the option here and run it like this. That's completely up to you because I'm not a huge fan of the power O. But at the end of the day, you do have this run going one direction and then you have this run going the other direction. And that's always a nice little thing to have. And I'll go ahead and talk about both runs real quick. Now, the fullback inside is going to be, quite good. Like this is going to be a run that's going to get positive yardage like almost all the time. It's a hard run to shoot because it kind of goes to the weak side and you have a lead blocker for you coming out of the backfield. I don't know what happened with our targeting there. The offensive lineman and the running back both kind of dumbed out. But as you can see, blocking is pretty insane for this play. Like you are going to gain some pretty good yardage with this one. And then with the power O, this is one that, it's very inconsistent. Having the tight end at the slot receiver position is going to help a little bit. You're going to hold blocks a little bit better. But like right there, like look at what happens. Since we don't have an actual like proper, fullback or something to like block for us, sometimes this guy coming out of the backfield just doesn't really do anything. He'll just kind of just get insta-shedded. And the power O is just okay. We're like only really keeping it because it does go one direction. If they kind of like shift their line to the fullback inside, you can take advantage maybe with the halfback power O. But as you can see, we're not really getting anything positive. And that's why it's okay to change your custom audibles to include all of your pass plays instead of having the power O included. The first passing play we're going to cover out of split close is going to be halfback wheel. And this is definitely an oldie but a goodie. It's been around for a long time and it's still very, very good. So the way we're going to set up this first play or this first setup is going to be drag the weak side receiver, fade the strong side receiver, and then you have the option to block the strong side running back or keep him on his table route. That's completely up to you. I would say if your opponent really isn't blitzing you every single play, send him out. If he is blitzing you every single play, then just block him. Both are acceptable, but the way you're going to read this, I'm going to keep the table for now. I would read it table route first if you do keep him, and then drag, and then corner, and then wheel. So this formation is really good for making your opponent respect the flats. If he's not going to respect the flats, and by that I mean, he's not going to aggressively play down on the flats in some fashion, either by playing hard flats or playing Mabel coverage where he has a hard flat and a cloud flat, or just like zone drops or whatever. That's going to be the way to stop this setup. And if he isn't willing to do that, he's going to have a hard time with this play. Table route gets out very quickly, and we get 10 plus yards just from a little check down. That's why we read it first. Now, if they do end up playing Mabel coverage, that is when you could be in trouble. Right here, this is going to get over a stock flat, which is really nice. Any kind of stock flat. That was a Tampa 2 flat right there. So right here, I think they're blitzing. I'm going to block the table. And what you're going to look for here is maybe the wheel, if it's a man coverage. And this wheel is, it typically gets way more separation than that. And this is an old school wheel. And the reason old school wheels are really nice is they get super wide. So I meant to throw the wheel there. I don't know why it didn't register. Let's go ahead and go to instant replay and take a look at this wheel real quick. It's very good versus both zone and man, because against zone, he runs fast and he gets outside the numbers. So I could have thrown him right here. Could have racked it for 10 plus yards. With the wheels that we have right now in hot routes, you won't get that, trust me. So yes, this is very good versus soft zone on this side, as well as man coverage. Read the table first. I blocked him, so drag and then corner. But overall, just another basic flood setup that is going to force your opponent into a Mabel coverage. And if they don't do that, you're just going to keep dotting them up all the way down the field. For halfback wheel number 2, we're going to drag the tight end that's in a slot receiver position and then hitch this strong side receiver. And this is how you'd want to run it. I will say you do have the option to block the strong side running back that's on the table. Now keep in mind, if you do this, the hitch is kind of pointless because you have nothing to pull flat zones away from the hitch. So I would do a zig, and basically what that's going to do is just give you an extra man beater on the field. But I will say, I do recommend kind of calling this setup when you kind of think that they aren't blitzing you. Now it can work versus a blitz too. You have a couple hot options. Like this hitch is going to be really good versus zone. He's almost always going to be open versus a zone blitz or really any kind of zone. They kind of need like a shaded down hook to take this guy away. But the way I would read this, I would do running back wheel to drag to hitch to post. So read the wheel first, because against soft zone, you can throw them just like this, get your 10 yards. Plus, it'll let you know if they're playing like an aggressive hard flat over there, and you can kind of like get an idea where you need to throw immediately. Right here, man coverage, just wait on this wheel and get it to him. I will say that this setup is going to be just okay versus like a man coverage, like a cover 1. Well, actually not a cover 1, more like a cover 2. Cover 2 would give us problems because you have a deep half on that side of the field. Although the post is kind of creating some room for him for the wheel. But as you can see, we just got like 20 yards from this wheel just because it's one of the best wheels in the entire game. So one more time, remember it's wheel to drag to hitch. And that's going to be a good throw against zone all the time. Like, again, they need like a shaded down hook. Or I guess in that case, yeah, that was a shaded down hook actually. Because that was a cover 2 shaded down. They had the hard flats. They had the hook shaded down. That is the only thing that's going to take him away. Drag was open. Wheel route was about to be open as well. One more time. Okay, we got the hard flats. Just wait for your running back. Get the time. And get your massive gain. And for halfback wheel number 3, this is going to be a cover 0 beater. If your opponent's just spamming man blitzes on you the entire time, this can get them out of it pretty quickly. And what I would do for this setup is max protect, so LB and then right stick up. As you can see, both the running backs block. We're going to slant the strong side receiver, and then we're going to check and release the weak side running back. So your play should look just like this. And the reason I like the check and release is because if they play a cover zero, the guy that's manned up to him is not going to blitz. And if they don't play a cover zero, he's going to get out on his route, and we still have an extra blocker in the backfield. And what that's going to do is just help your slant coming across the field. That's why we have the check and release. Now, the way I would read this, if I know it's cover zero, I'm going to start with my tight end, see if he's going to get open on his break, and then I'll move on to the slant and then the post. Let's go ahead and take a look. Right here, the corner route gets double teamed. Let's go to instant replay and take a look, because I believe that safety is manned up to the running back. And what you're going to see, safety manned up to the running back. Running back stays in the block, so he zones off, takes away the corner route. At that point, you're moving on to the slant. As you can see, look at this guy here. He's not doing anything because he's manned up to the running back. That's on the check and release. And then we could throw the post over the top. So it's kind of like, if the corner route gets double teamed, you're really looking at the slant and the post. So same play here. Just like that. Now Tyreek Hill is a freak. Don't expect your post to separate quite like that. I want to be a little fair here. Like, that's not going to happen with, any receiver. But as you can see, the slant, post, the user's going to have to pick one of them. He's probably going to pick the slant, and oftentimes the post is going to break his back. Next up, we have Dolphins Pivot Dig, and we're just going to go get to random play on this one. Drag your strong side receiver, wheel route your weak side running back, and then you have the option to block the strong side running back. If you think that they're in coverage, or they've been playing coverage like pretty much the entire game, just leave them on this delay swing. That's only going to help the other routes get open, like this tight end return route. The return route is basically just like an inverted zig, for those of you who have never heard that before. He basically goes out and then comes back in. Very good versus man, also very good versus zone. Definitely one of my favorite routes of all time. But the way we're going to read this is I would do drag. Actually, no, I would do wheel first, then drag, return route, then dig. So let's go ahead and take a look. Right here, there's the drag. And the good thing about this combo between the drag and the return route is if the user overcommits to the drag, the return route is probably open. You see how this tight end kind of like goes out, then he breaks back in. He's open right here. And good spacing between the drag and this return. Now, I will say, this is why we have the delay. He's going to pull the zone off of that return. If you don't have this delay, this will not happen. The return will not be open immediately. So let's do it again. Remember, we're doing wheel, then drag, then return, then dig. So here we go. Good hit by the linebacker. But I will say this is a quick hitting play. You're never going to get huge yardage with this play unless, they play a man coverage or something and you can hit this wheel. That's really the only time you're going to get really big yardage. This is really about just having a quick hitter over the middle of the field. In this case, we get the dig late. They played very aggressively. But I will say that this is mainly designed to beat a man coverage. If they play like a cover 3 hard flat, I believe that's what they just played. That's going to give this play some trouble. Right there, I should have blocked my running back instead of keeping on his delay. Right here, I'm going to keep him on his delay because I don't think they're blitzing. Here we go. Get to the drag or the return route. For pivot dig number 2, we're going to max protect, so LB, right stick up. Blocks both of our running backs. Fade the tight end. In route your weak side running back. And then zig the weak side receiver. So your play should look like this. And really what we're looking to do here is attack this right sideline, or the strong side sideline, with this C route. That's going to get above like any stock flats. They're going to need to use zone drops. And if they want to take away this play completely, they will probably need a Mabel coverage. So a short flat and a deep flat. And then we have the backside zig in case they play man coverage. But like right here, C route, that's going to be an option versus man coverage. Now do keep in mind with C routes, these are a little bit more prone to getting usered because they come in first and attract user attention, and then they can run with the C route. So please keep that in mind. This can get usered. I don't want to act like it can't. It's a little bit different than traditional corner routes. But like right here, this is why we have the backside zig. They play a cover 0 or something, they're probably screwed. You're going to get massive yardage with that. But again, the way to really take away this setup would be like a Mabel coverage. Have a short flat and a deep flat to that side. Because we can either check it down to this out route or this in route or the C route. Again, the C route is going to get above any stock flat. Just like that. For pivot dig number 3, this is going to be kind of a long developing play. I would say it's best against, coverage. But it is going to be good versus both zone and man. So what we're going to do is streak this weak side receiver, wheel the strong side running back, and then take this C route, which is your strong side receiver. We're going to motion him across and snap him once he passes the other receiver, just like this. Try to throw it to my delay table. Delay table is going to be the first read. The reason for that is you want to see if he's staying in the block or not, because if he doesn't stay in the block, he might be a read initially. So like right here, he ends up just getting stuck on that defensive end for just a split second. But you can see he's wide open for a check down. And then ultimately what we're looking for, if we get enough time, is this high-low over the middle of the field between this return and this post. That's oftentimes going to be open versus zone. I will show you another way you can run this in a second if you want to send everybody out immediately. But here we go. Let's go ahead and snap it again. Get enough time in the pocket. Hit this post. The wheel route from the strong side running back is going to occupy like deep halves, outside thirds. Keep them away from this post. So let's go ahead and do it again. As you can see right here, nice little window for this C route that's now a post. Now the other way you could run this is you could put this weak side running back on an out route, and what that's going to do is give you initial throw immediately underneath this post. So like right here, they ended up playing hard flats over there, so it wasn't like the best demonstration. But let's go ahead and take another look at that one. So over here, that guy follows, probably man coverage. Hit this wheel route. And overall, this setup is going to be very good versus like really any coverage. As long as you don't get pressured extremely quickly, something is going to be open on this play. Next up, we have Dolphins Option. And this first setup is going to be good versus, man coverage. Maybe not cover 2 man, but just, cover 1, cover 0. What we're going to do is max protect LB, right stick up. And then we're going to in route our strong side running back, which is RB in this case. And this is the setup. And all of these routes can beat man coverage. So let's go ahead and take a look. In the event that they play a zone, hopefully it's not an aggressive zone where they're playing really down on these flats. Because if they are, nothing's really going to be open. Because if you think about it, if they do like a cover 3 or cover 4 hard flat, the out route or the in route is going to be bagged. The return route probably bagged. And then the corner route and the C route are both going to get bagged by thirds. So please do keep that in mind. This is really going to be good versus soft zone or like a cover 1, cover 0. Do it again. Right here. Good example is the C route against man coverage. If they're in cover 2 man, they'll have a deep path to help on him. Otherwise, it's going to be one-on-one. And that's when we could take advantage. Right here. Get it to our in route. Get our 10 plus yards. So the way you want to read it, if it's man coverage, you can really do it in any order you want. If it's zone, you'd want to do in route, return route, and then C route. Let's go take a look. Zone. In route first. Just do your little check down. Get your 5 yards. In the event that that's not open, then you go to your return route next. Right here. Man coverage again. Get it to your C route. This is going to be more likely to win than your tight end corner route. This is probably the best route on this play against man coverage. Here's your return route. For Dolphins option number 2, we're going to out route the weak side running back, check and release the strong side running back, motion your tight end across and put him on a streak. Now let him set completely before you snap this ball. But before I snap, just to kind of break it down, it's just another flood concept going to the wide side. The streak is going to clear any deep zone. C route will get above any stock flat. They're going to need to zone drop a 30 to bag this C route without them using it. Then you have the out route from the running back. If they want to play soft, you can check it down to your running back for 5+ yards. In the event that they play Mabel coverage, which is kind of how you'd want to take away that on the sideline, you have this backside return route, which will be an option late. So let's go ahead and check it out. Read your running back first. They play soft, always get it to them, because you do not know if you're going to have time to throw the C route, or you don't know if they're going to be zone dropping a 30. I'd say in most cases, people aren't going to be zone dropping, so you're probably safe there. But against a good player, they will definitely consider it. This was actually really good man coverage by this guy. That's typically not going to happen. Do it again. Man coverage. In this case, I would maybe consider blocking this running back. Maybe run something more like this, just to give myself an additional man beater. That is up to you, of course. But right here, return route. Could have thrown the wheel late. But just to give you an extra option versus like cover zero. That's just something you can mix in. So I go back to running it the normal way, like this. As you can see, return route. That's why we have the check and release. That's going to open up space for this return route. And the thing about this play is anytime you use a C route, it's different than a normal corner route where, the user is not always going to be attracted to it because, he kind of just runs straight up the field and then breaks to the sideline. Meanwhile, the C route, it'll go inwards towards user vicinity. And then the user might say, okay, I'm taking this route, and then he'll take it. That's why the return route is going to be open a lot more, because the user might vacate the middle of the field and run with the C route, and then you have this return. And then finally, we have Dolphins option number 3. This is definitely one of my favorite setups. It just does take a little bit of time to throw this ball. But the way we're going to set it up is we're going to out route the weak side running back, and you can block him if you want to. I typically send him out, but I'm going to wheel the strong side running back now, and then I'm going to streak the weak side receiver. I'm going to motion the tight end across and let him set. Now, you can technically snap it early if you want. I do think it works out better if you let him set. It's going to disguise it with Dolphins option number 2, and I just do believe that he runs a little too slow for my liking when you motion snap him. So I like it like this, and this setup is just going to be, it's going to be really good versus anything. Now, like, if they blitz you, that's when you want to block this weak side running back. Then you'll have extra time to make a read. But if you send him out, you're going to have a lot of options. Let's go ahead and take a look. You're going to see against man coverage, this guy is going to separate like all the time. I don't know why he does. This is Higgins, a 69 overall tight end. He's fast, but he doesn't have good route running. And he's just going to separate all the time. It just takes time to throw him. So do keep that in mind. Block that weak side running back if you want to. And that will definitely help out. Right there, you see how that post was about to come open. But that is why you can also check it down. You don't have to wait for this post, because oftentimes the in route or the return route are going to be open. So let's go ahead and take a look. As you can see right here, return route. The wheel is clearing out space for the return. So like right here, I'm going to block that running back and run it like this now. I'll maybe ID this guy here. And just like that, there is no zone that is going to play this route. I promise you, they're going to need a really good guy in man coverage to bag him, or they're going to have to user him, or alternatively, just get good pressure on you. That's really the only way to defend that. As you can see, boom, just like that. The wheel on the strong side, or I guess on the weak side now, after we motion, is going to hold any kind of deep zone. That's a deep half, so it's a cover 2 invert. You see how he's still outside the numbers, does not play this post. Run it a couple more times. Right here. I'll read the the way you would technically read this is you would start with the out route from the running back, then you'd move to the post, then you would check the wheel, and then the return. Now, I would say you would maybe do the return third if it's zone. If it's man coverage, you definitely go to the wheel. Check it out. That third is not going to play that. And overall, this is a really good setup. It's really only going to get stopped if they're getting insane pressure on you, like they're shedding like crazy, or they're just blitzing you. So that's going to be it for the breakdown on YouTube, but I do include breakdowns of IFORM close and strong close on the full ebook, which is on acemadden.com. I'm going to put the link in the description as well as the comment section. It is 100% free to access. You don't even need an account. So that's going to be like the better place for you to refer back to this ebook anyways, because it has the videos, it has the setups, it has the setup screenshots, and it's going to make your life a little bit easier when it comes to learning this offense and just kind of retaining that information. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed this offense. Please drop a like if you did, because I did put a ton of time and work into this one. This took a lot of time. So drop a like, drop a comment, subscribe if you're new. Love you guys. Let's get to 30,000 next. See you guys in the next one.